Hey you guys, it is Shan. I'm coming to you guys with another video from our Thrive programming and Advanced Memphis, obviously. And so I want to talk about today triggers. There are so many different things, especially with everything that's going on in our country right now. It's so easily to be triggered. And so I found a really cool definition that I would like to use just for the sake of this video. So excuse me actually reading it off. It says that it's something that sets off a memory tape or flashback, transporting a person back to the event of his or her trauma. And so that could be a number of things. I want to make sure we understand that a trigger does not have to be a person. It doesn't have to be a word. It could be a smell. It could be something happening to someone else that was similar. And I just know, especially as we are dealing with a lot of race relation right now, I know that for a lot of us, that can be a trigger. So I do want to talk about just triggers and what that looks like in 2020, okay? So now that we know that it can be something bad, I also want to make sure we know that it could be something good. It could be like for me, I love my family and we used to do family reunions all the time. And so I can hear, it's a family reunion. And I would get really excited. It takes me back to that moment of just seeing my grandmother and her siblings and my cousins and everything. So don't think that a trigger has to be something negative. It really can be something positive, but a lot of the times when we think of triggers, we're immediately thinking of something negative. And what I'm going to address more or less are some of the things, the effects of negative triggers, okay? But do know that it can be something positive. Now, when we start talking about triggers, and we especially negative triggers, we need to ask ourselves, why is that a trigger, right? So first, it's important to try to identify the things that set you off. What are those things that make you argue? What are those things that make you feel some kind of way? What are those things that put you right at the edge or pushes you over the edge, right? And once you identify those things, then you need to start asking yourself, what about this conflicts with my core beliefs as my system? Your core beliefs are often a direct reflection of your past, your cultural upbringing, or just your natural personality, okay? And so a lot of times when things conflict with our core belief system, they tend to push us over the edge. So sometimes the person triggering us may not be meaning to trigger us. It may be something that's within us that we interpret a certain way because of our perspective, because of our experience. So we have to be careful, even in our response, because sometimes people can trigger us and not recognize they're triggering us or have ill will towards us, okay? Now, once we have identified a trigger, excuse me. So in work life, we teach a combination called ceasefire, okay? With the ceasefire, the steps are calm down, engage your ears, apologize for something, speak using smart speaking, and encourage a win-win situation. So that's real big. So basically what we're saying is before you address a trigger, calm down. You may be on an adrenaline, you may be on a rush. And again, someone may have triggered you and not meant to do so. And even if they did, not a lot is going to happen when emotions are running high. Second of all, engage your ears. Listen to the other person's perspective. See how they came to that conclusion. See what they meant by it instead of just what you took it as. Third, apologize for something. Apologize even for a small thing. But do not lie. If you don't mean your apology, then don't give it, okay? Fourth of all, speak using your smart speaking. Say, hey, I saw this and this is how I felt, or I did this and this is how I interpret it. And that way you can have healthy dialogue. Number 5, encourage a win-win solution. It doesn't, just because you don't get everything you want does not mean that you lost in that situation. Sometimes healthy dialogue and learning how to interact with people in a different way is important. So let's learn about triggers. Let's engage our ears and all that good stuff. Thank you so much for your time.